So in that case, he cannot claim protection for the constitution that he has consistently violated and is still willing to violate the constitution. We have seen, for example, that the popular initiative in the street where people are raising their voices against unpopular, anti-people laws that is being imposed upon the Kenyan people by the Kenya Kwanza regime, we have no president that listens to this popular initiative. In fact, we have to go to the street and sacrifice our lives. That means people have to die for the head of the state to listen or even to pretend to listen. So that is why the reason why we will be on the street on Katiba Day, which is on Tuesday, to announce a total shutdown of the country and to remind the head of state that he's no longer is no longer the head of state that the constitution actually protected, but his continuous staying power is actually a mockery to the Constitution 2010 that he has violated many times. We are also not going to have a dialogue or even pretend to listen to the person who has made it, you know, a perfect policy, not just to abduct or to kidnap people who dare raise their voices, but to extinguish them, to kill them. Now, we are saying that we are going to have a total shutdown because the Constitution provides the undeniable right, the undeniable right to life. So the people who basically were found dead just because they dared to raise important question to question this regime. We are saying that on 27th, on Katiba Day, we will turn out in large numbers in town to call out their names loud and finally to move steadfastly and present a petition that President William Samoei Ruto must go. This national, coordination committee that involves about 40, we started by 48 organizations, progressive political parties, is to reconsolidate what we have been calling a government in waiting. That we now must think beyond Ruto regime and tell the Kenyan people that we must get organized in preparation to actually take leadership and lead the Kenyan state. In this way, then we will be able to offer clear direction on where we are going as a country. We have come up with three important documents, which are actually living documents that we need to continue to discuss. The first important document is what we call the Charter, that actually helps to summarize all the wishes of the majority of the Kenyan people. That indeed, the majority of the Kenyan people do not want to have a dialogue with a head of state that cannot make decisions on his own mind or through his useful advisors, but has to take commands from external powers that continue to suppress and compromise our sovereignty as a country. That if we dare to have such a dialogue with such president, then he will have to consult his foreign backers to be able to make decisions. And this is what we are saying, that the time for having a dialogue with an illegitimate president, we are done with it. And our task is actually to continue to put more pressure actually in the streets. And as we put more pressure in the street, we should also reconsolidate the gains in the streets and build a highly organized, pro people, effective government that can actually take over to run this country in the interest of the majority of the people. So the debates that we are starting today, that any Kenyan patriot outside there that want to join a people popular initiative process to actually lead to the ultimate removal of President William Samoei Ruto from the office and take charge to run the affairs of this country, we will want to have a conversation. This is the dialogue we want to have an alternative government in waiting as we continue to put more pressure in the streets and organize our forces clearly. So we welcome almost 18 social justice centers that have signed to these initiatives. We welcome the smaller progressive political parties and that have taken up this initiative. And we welcome every people's assembly that has turned out to discuss important issues that affect this country. All we are saying that we are welcoming everyone to this alternative government under construction, that we can contribute ideas to build it and to present it not for ourselves, but for the majority of the Kenyan people. Because the people that we are entrusting that they will take the reins of power after the President William Samoei Ruto's government falls on its own weight are the same scavengers, are the same vultures that continue to cut deals with the same president in the name of being, just an opportunist head of opposition. So we are awakened to this important task. You know that, for example, the people who rose against the white minority government that were led by Field Marshal Dedan Kimathi, they were not 40 years, they were not 60 years, they were not 70 years. They were young comrades in their early 20s, in their early teens, that came back together to put up a resistance against the neocolonial construction that continued to dominate us under, you know, under the dictates of William Samoei Ruto. So this is the neocolonial construction that we have to defeat. In fact, we are saying that this popular initiative must mobilize all popular forces in Kenya. And all these popular forces should join hands to highlight the real issues that Kenyans have been demanding to. We want a government without accountability. They must get accountability from this government that, we are in the process of constructing. If we are to get a free corrupt government, if you get leaders that are true patriots, where shall we find them? We have come to the conclusion that the leaders actually come from the streets. They come from the people who come out every day to discuss the real issues that are affecting the Kenyan people. So we are saying that the GNZ opportunity that has come to the majority of the Kenyan people, that we will expect them to rise and take the mantle of leadership. Because if we are waiting that the people who continue to actually oppress and repress us will actually take and will change the faces in government and start to roll out policies that are actually important to us. This we will not see happen. So this is a dialogue to mobilize the Kenyan Republic, the true lovers of the patriot, to turn out in large numbers in the streets. We will be presenting a petition at the Harambe House, and what we will be saying that the government the government as it is cannot serve the majority of the Kenyan people. It is a board of directors for a few billionaires to continue to loot money from the Kenyan people. So and then tomorrow we are going to have another a press conference led by, of course, Comrade Kasmuel and Wanjira, to again do the final mobilization to make sure that we turn out in the streets in large numbers on the 27th to call out this government, this killer state, that we will not rest until the blood that has been shed in the streets of Nairobi are given dignity. And this dignity is only comes for free justice, freedom, access to social basic rights for for the Kenyan people, the birth of a new republic that is going to guarantee quality healthcare for all, is going to guarantee a national education as a national project and not education for profit, a government that will ensure that people are housed and access water with dignity. This is the conversation that we are going to have now, and we are going to continue to have in the streets on the 27th. That we need each and every Kenyan person who truly and genuinely love the Kenyan Republic to come out on 27th, which will be on Tuesday, to demonstrate that to this government that we have not given up in fighting for a brighter future, a brighter Kenyan future, not for just ourselves, but also for our descendants, and to also respect the people who came before us that handed us over the baton to continue to continue with the struggle after sacrificing too much. I will hand over the mic to Kasmuel.
Thank you very much, Comrade Booker, for that exquisite introduction. I would want to ask, just so that people understand, when we talk about these people's assemblies, when we talk about this political vehicle that we are forming, this coordination committee, perhaps there's people who had not joined the space yesterday. Are we also doing a capture harvest? Have we just sat down under a tree and elected ourselves as leaders of a Gen Z movement? Is this what we are doing? Are we doing the same thing politicians are doing? Or how was this professional committee formed? And two, can anyone join to preserve of particular people? Booker.
Yeah, first, thank you very much. First of all, this popular initiative started by doing an analysis when there was the social explosion in the streets. Even though the popular narrative in the street was that the GNC leaders, the GNZ movement was leaderless. In our own analysis, we, we came to the conclusion that the majority of the people in the street were only leaderless insofar as the leaders in this country has auctioned them. So in this case, the majority of the Kenyan even today remain leaderless as so long as they do not have leaders that actually represents the interest of the majority. And even though we were very clear that we are not going to join the regular political parties that have continued to, to auction the Kenyan masses, to basically to broker us to the biggest bidder. This is what we are saying, that such political parties that have actually gotten into bed with William Samoei's Ruto's corrupt state cannot be able to be trusted to lead this country. And even for our tribes, we are saying we are tribeless only as so long as our tribes have been used as a tool to divide us. This is where the analysis started at Ukombozi Library, where the organized forces in the streets said that in one voice, if the power ever falls on the street, the most organized people will take that political power. And the most organized people at that time, we saw it was the corrupt opposition led by one Raila Odinga and also the military on one side. So we said that we must start the immediate process to organize the forces that were genuinely in the streets to prepare for a government of the people in waiting. And in that sense, when they ask us what next after the Gen Z uprising, we will say it's a total changeover of all the political class that have been in this country. This is what drove the collection. Now, this is not a complete process. In fact, we say in the coalition that this is a process under construction, that each and every patriot that loves Kenya as our homeland, you have an opportunity not just to be heard, but to participate in a process that will lead to make collective decisions, to think seriously about the future of this country and how we will deliver the punishment for those who have continued to rob this country for many years and still continue to rob this country, only to hand over these proceeds of theft to their only descendants to continue to dominate us. So this is a process that has been undergoing. We have signed up. I just want to run through the list, but we have signed up 58 organizations and started another 14 people's assembly. And the idea is we continue to mobilize until a point that we can be able to launch a national, popular initiative that will sweep not just President William Samoei Ruto out of power, but will also sweep the corrupt opposition that masquerades only when when they think that their interest is stepped on, but come to unite with the corrupt government when they feel that the young people have threatened their position. We at least have one important point. The most important point that we have is that we are not going to negotiate with President William Samoei Ruto's government. Upsets to auction the blood of the people that was shed in the street in the negotiating with an incompetent government. So the analysis still continues. We have a document that we will wish that people can study, or we will wish that people can contribute to that body of knowledge, that at any given time we can stand up and call out this government and even call out respective CSS on their corrupt activity and the anti-people policies that they have been rolled out. So it is your time as a Kenyan patriot to step in. You can inbox us your contacts, your organization, and we are going to ensure that not just your voice is heard within this coalition under construction, but also that your contribution in terms of your intellect, in terms of your ability, is respected as a true patriot, a true Kenyan patriot. Kasmuel.
Thank you very much, Comrade Booker, for that. Comrade Wanjira, maybe just before we even now start opening up the microphones, and I see there are quite a couple of requests coming in. We will ensure that every Kenyan who joins the space at least gets a chance to speak, because it is for all of us that we do this. This is not an agenda that is being pushed by maybe Kasmuel or Wanjira or Comrade Booker or whoever, for that matter. I would want to hear your experience, Comrade Wanjira. You've been in this struggle for nothing less than a decade. What has it been like, and what does the coalition mean to you? Is it something that you would tell people to join, or is this just another one of those schemes that people say? And then give us an idea of what you think, the gains we could consolidate, one, or the things that we have gained on the streets, and part of the things that you've learned, so that people have a deeper understanding when we say we have a national coalition, what that means. What does that look like to you, Comrade Wanjira?
Thank you so much, my comrade Kasmuel, and great points there by my comrade Booker. I think it is very important that we are organized, because we cannot continue to move disorganized. For us to have meaningful gains, for us to be able to consolidate the gains we've made, for us to make any serious steps moving forward, because we are not going to stop what we started. We have seen that the conditions are ripe for us to be able to overhaul this system that is not working for us. Worked for the last decade. I've been a community organizer, especially police brutality seems to be getting worse. With now, it's really disturbing that several women's bodies were chopped, put in a sack, and dumped in a quarry. Oh my gosh, there's really nothing normal about that in a country that upholds the rule of law, respects the constitution, and respects human rights. So it is coming to the realization that we are not going to make any meaningful change in this current republic as it is. We are not going to reform the police system. We are not going to reform these national organizations like IPOA, who time and time again have failed the people. We are not going to reform the Anti-Corruption Commission. We are not going to reform anything here, because it is a billionaires club that has come together to continue oppressing the Kenyan people, and we cannot afford to give them any more time. This is what we are saying. We have seen it all. We have seen what this is about, and the fact that they even came together at the height of the revolution, at the height of us being able to overhaul this system so that we can birth a new republic. The end goal for this national coalition that we are entering into, and that we are asking other Kenyans to join us, is to actually birth a new republic that respects, upholds the Constitution of Kenya 2010, that upholds the rule of law, and most importantly, that strives towards social justice for the people of Kenya. It's been years since independence. We cannot be struggling with the same things our grandparents were struggling with. We cannot be struggling in with education in this time and era, with healthcare in this time and era. We have moved. We want to progress, and I think this is what got so much support for the Gen Zs, because tunataka kuishi poa, tunataka maisha bora. Tumechoka na hand to mouth, tumechoka na police brutality, tumechoka na hustle na struggle, na tuko home. We want Kenya to be the birthplace that it is for us. We want it to feel like home bila kunyanyaswa na askari, kunyanyaswa na politicians, kunyanyaswa na high taxes, kunyanyaswa na imperialists ambao wana make decisions ambazo zinatukandamiza kama wananchi wa Kenya. We don't want a system that is not people-centered. We say development must be development for the people of Kenya. We must see the people of Kenya developing in terms of education, in terms of healthcare, in terms of basic needs like food and shelter. So many street children in the streets of Nairobi than in any other African country, really, actually. And JM already said this. Kenya has become a country of 10 millionaires and 10 million beggars. We have gone worse. So we do not want to keep lamenting about our situation as Kenyan citizens. We don't want to keep saying, oh my gosh, there's so much police brutality in this country. There's so much corruption. There's so much. We have come to the realization that no Messiah is coming to save us. No outside force is coming to change this situation for us. It is us, adults of saying, see that this is a situation that needs us to act upon it as soon as possible. This is a man that has no interest for the people of Kenya, has to always check with Meg Whiteman what to do for the Kenyan people. We don't want a puppet of US imperialism and neocolonialism. We want someone who, in fact, the preamble of the Kenyan Constitution is about honoring the martyrs of the Kenyan land, freedom, of the Kenyans who fought for our land and freedom. It's about honoring of Piogama Pinto, who was the first person to be assassinated for demanding that land and social justice be for the people. That Uhuru that we got in 1963 is not turned into Uhuru to exploit the masses, but Uhuru from hunger, Uhuru from poverty, Uhuru from disease, Uhuru from exploitation, Uhuru from everything that is happening in our country right now. So the Constitution of Kenya 2010 tells us that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya. And this is a reality I think we were able to realize on the 25th of June, that we were able to rise up and say, as people of Kenyan land, we have come here to say we reject foreign domination in our land. We reject the finance bill that promises to make our lives even more difficult. We reject this parliament that does not represent us. And we took the mace, which means symbolically the power is actually with the people of Kenya. Now we are saying Ruto must go because he does not respect the voice of the Kenyan people. Ruto must go for so many reasons. But for violating Article 238 of the Kenyan Constitution, Article 238 is about the national security organs. That Ruto released the army on the Kenyan people is unacceptable and unforgivable. That the Speaker of the National Assembly was quoted to have sent a sniper to shoot and kill Kenyan citizens is unacceptable. We have said time and time again that hii ni system ya majambazi, na sioni ni kwa nini tunawapatia muda kuendelea kuibia wananchi wa Kenya, kuendelea kuua na kuabduct wananchi wa Kenya, kuendelea kuviolate katiba, kuendelea kuintroduce punitive retrogressive bills kama kulipa 1 million for dengue. Madness. So Ruto must go because we do not read from the same script. And the Constitution of Kenya gives us all sovereignty to decide at any given time, whether it is election period or not, what should go on. Sovereignty of the Kenyan people, and in advancing our struggle to birth a new republic. If you believe that Kenya must change, Kenya must become a new Kenya, Kenya must be a country of a new type, please join us on the 27th and let's fight together. Also inviting you to the National Coalition so that we can have a space for collective intellect, a space for checking in with each other on how best we think we can move forward, and a space to consolidate the gains that we have already made. We want to be able to move forward together but please be part of an organization so it becomes easier to consolidate and to discuss and to make plans. Thank you, Kasmuel. This is what
Thank you.
I would like to submit.
Thank you, Comrade Banjira. As a woman, is there space enough for you in the collective? What does that look like for women? Because a lot of the time, these spaces and these political agitations have been done by men. They look as though they are processes that should be dominated by men. What is your experience as a woman, and what can you do to encourage our sisters in the struggle, even in terms of, I just want to know what your experience in being in a collective or part of a social justice movement has been like, so that we can be able to paint that picture very clearly for our sisters in the struggle in a few minutes. And then now we open the microphones, where I will let you moderate. Remember, we'll give each speaker 2 minutes, or in some cases where we'll need to advance a point for a little longer, we will just consider that. But what has your experience been as a sister in the struggle, Comrade Manjira?
Kasmal, I really find this question about women quite interesting to answer, but the experience is always 50-50. You're going to find very lovely comrades who will support you and move with you. That is both for the women and the men. But the challenge and reality of patriarchy is true in the general republic as well. But it is a struggle we are dismantling. It is an understanding that I think that women can lead, women are capable, and women are the remaining thing for us to achieve our revolution. I think the role of women needs to be more respected, more accepted, more enabled in the liberation struggle. I think it was Thomas Sankara who said there can be no true revolution without the true liberation of women. And this is something we hold very dear in our organizing spaces. My center, where I come from, it's mainly women-led. And I think we can see we have made some progress with the women leadership. I don't think it is too challenging. I can maneuver, but there's still the
Thank you
challenge
very
of
much.
patriarchy.
Thank
It's a
you very
reality.
much, Comrade
Yeah.
Wanjira. Yes, that is what I wanted to know, because even part of the organization that I could boast of comes from part of experiencing the Social Justice Center, which you're part of, which is very heavily women led. So, to our sisters in the struggle, there is more than enough space to all of us. Kindly, Comrade Wanjira will take the first round of speakers. We'll have Muthiora, we'll have Maganga, we'll have Flo Nyaga, and Comrade Gisore. Comrades, kindly let's maintain discipline. We'll take 2 minutes per speaker, and then so that we can pass the microphone to around to as many people as we can. And we shall. I believe we'll have a very productive discussion going forward.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kasmuel, for hosting us yet again. Yesterday was incredible. We had thousands of Kenyans who came together to discuss the 13 reasons why William Ruto must go. And as that conversation went on, we realized that Kenyans would have wanted for us to discuss all of the reasons why William Ruto should go, because we don't have just 13 of them. But that said, I would like to go to my very important reason why I think we should all participate in the national shutdown on Katiba Day on the 27th. Here's the truth, that in 23 very short months, William Ruto and the presidency, that is, Rigathi Gachagua included, have violated all the first 14 chapters of our constitution. To them, this supreme document that binds the fabric of this republic together is an inconvenience. It's a suggestion. Whatever is contained therein has no gravitas for them. To them, I think our constitution is a mere collection of papers put together which they can choose when to follow and when not to follow. We know there are petitions and court cases that are currently going on. We outlined some of them yesterday, including petition number 356 of 2024, which has outlined 36 instances in which William Ruto has violated our constitution. So today, I would like us to focus on Article 3 of our constitution, which calls every person to defend the constitution. And just so these sinks in, we are calling on Kenyans on the 27th. It may not be the whole day for you as an individual if you're not to. Perhaps it may not be half a day, maybe not even an hour, but we would like for you to set aside time on that day. Shut down whatever it is that you've been doing on a regular basis or on a day-to-day basis, and just focus on the value that this constitution has in this republic. Look at what it could be if it was implemented both in letter and in spirit. There are rights that are enshrined therein that if our leadership was committed, we would not have to worry about things such as healthcare, such as education, such as the welfare of the elderly in society. But because those in charge do not treat this document with the importance that it deserves, we've struggled even with the most basic things. So on the 27th of August 2024, my appeal is that walk the path that Shujaa Julius Kamau has walked before. He has not waited for people to come support him, but every time when he has felt strong enough to go out there, he has taken it upon himself to go and demonstrate against the injustice that this government continues to met against the citizens. So please, 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 my fellow compatriots, do not let this Katiba Day pass like any other day. It's important for us to push back. We showed when we came together and defeated the finance bill that we are not helpless. What gives us the power is the constitution that we gave unto ourselves in 2010. We have a very progressive constitution, which is what I always fall back to when people tell me that we are trying to burn down this country. Because with a constitution as progressive as the one that governs us, with the institutions that it has entrenched, with a spirit that is resilient, that is known to be borne by the Kenyan people, we must remain unbowed. We must not fear to ask for that which is truly ours, and that is good governance, accountability. We must go out there on Tuesday and say that we, like every other individual, matter. Kindly, kindly, let's have this conversation, not just here. Let us cascade it down to the people in our villages, in our homes, whatever space where you have influence. Please break it down to them that if anything in this country is to change, all of us must punch our weight. We must increase the level of civic and political education so that all citizens know what their obligations are, what their freedoms are. And if collectively we can push so that the consciousness is where it should be, we'll be able to have in office people who implement this constitution, and that way we'll be able to reap the fruits that were promised to us when we fought and eventually won the independence for Kenya. Thank you, Kasmuel.
Thank you very much, Comrade Muthiora, for that lovely submission. Uh, Comrade Willie Oeba, just before I go to the next speaker who was scheduled. Comrade Willie Oeba and Nonini and Ayo and some of these Twitter influencers they came together and did such an amazing thing for social justice. And as of yesterday, we were gracious enough, and we agreed that we would co-host a space so that we do not have a split listenership. And they were gracious enough to say that they would come back today and they would tell us more about the project. I remember very keenly that we said we would give them time. So just before we go into this, remember, we are asking ourselves, what is this that is happening on the 27th of this month? What do we mean when we say total shutdown on Katiba Day? What is Katiba Day about? And I know all of us here are patriots, and you've seen parts of the Constitution that have been violated. You've seen how people have desecrated this document that's supposed to guard the sanctity of our lives and the sovereignty of our republic. Before we get in, because I know we're getting into a round where a lot of people are going to come here, and remember, the modus operandi is just come here and inject, give us as much truth, lay it bare. Please do not spare us at all. If you get that microphone, give us a reason. Remind us why. Just in case we forgot, remind us why this government, with every day it spends in office, it's a day that we are signing off of our life lease. It's a day we are signing off of our life expectancy. So, Comrade Oeba, please tell us a little bit about the project, and then I'll toss the mic around as we proceed with the space. Asante. Also, tell us what the campaign in the public transport system has been like. Tell us if yesterday was a success, because I know you were going very late yesterday. You guys were injecting past 10 p.m. Let us know if that has been a success, and also how we can be there for you as Kenyans. Asante.
Wow, thank you so much, my brother. Thank you for the amazing work that you're doing. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you, Comrade Buka, for the amazing submission. Thank you, Anjira. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. My name is Willie Oeba. Again, I'm a spoken word artist, and I do poetry for social change. So today we are releasing a piece, and I stand guided. I can see Nonini was here, but I cannot see him. I'll be with him before we can play it later on. So thank you so much, Kasmuel, for organizing this space, and thank you all for taking art for social change with the seriousness it deserves. You know, initially, art was just for entertainment purpose, and we used to go for gigs, we used to go for events, and then we perform before they pray so that we can start. But now art is in the main course. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to Nonini for bringing people together, and Small Slithol released this piece in 2020. I'm offended, and he was arrested by the then governor Ongwae. So he saw the need, the urge to do the second, the remix, and it has been amazing. So my idea always as a spoken word artist is, if we stop writing, then what happens to people who cannot hold a pen? And that is why I keep writing, because as I started yesterday, I was almost shot in 2017. And in this song, we have themes like extrajudicial killings, police brutality, the gentrification that is happening in Nairobi. And Nairobi is becoming very expensive for even the middle class to live in. And what music and art and spoken word and visual art holds is the soft power, and we should really exercise it with so much love, unlike our leaders who hold the hard power and they exercise it with brute force. So we should exercise the soft power with so much love, so that we are able to retain that power. So the reasons why I am personally offended is because of the funding model of the university, the healthcare, then the contempt of the rule of law. Art and poetry is used to document, inspire, comfort, disturb the comfortable, and comfort the disturbed. And this is my little contribution towards the movement. So I'll keep injecting, I'll keep writing, I'll keep doing poetry and inspiring other young poets and the other young artists, so as to raise a generation of activists who can speak truth to power. So yesterday was amazing. We injected until 12. And the team is growing. Now we are a team of 6 poets. So this week we'll escalate to a team of like 17 poets. And I'm really waiting for Comrade Muthiora to get back to me so that we can also circulate the flyers. And keep praying for us, keep supporting us. Thank you so much. People have been sending lunch, fare, the smiles, the prayers. We really appreciate it. Goes a long way. So thank you so much. Let us keep pushing. Thank you so much, Kasmuel.
Thank you, Comrade Willie, and also for the work that you're doing in Nakuru. For a very long time, we thought Nakuru was a dead town, but it's been very politically vibrant recently. And thank you to all the efforts that you and all the comrades in Nakuru are doing. We're very, very grateful for the work you're doing. And keep on exposing and injecting the corrupt leaders and give them sleepless nights. Ensure that even whatever it is that they purchase using money that they've stolen, they do not enjoy. Asante sana. Also, I hope that you're safe. You guys have been injecting this thing so much, and we are nothing but proud. We are very inspired, and we look forward. I personally am making this commitment that I will join you in as many as I can. So, because together we do this, it becomes bigger and better. Now, I would like to. Oh, thank you, Willie. Do you have something to say? Sorry.
Thank you so much. Really looking forward to joining you also this week. Let us do it.
Let's do it this week. Asante sana. I see. So we'll take the first round of speakers, and now I will pass the microphone to a lady called Flo Nyaga. Ms. Flo, the microphone is yours. Kindly share with us what you think of the of this of the total shutdown. What you think of what has happened to the constitution, and what you think your reasons of why Ruto must go. Just so that to remind us of the gravity of this clarion call. And what your understanding is of it. Give us your own unique angle that you think is important for us to hear. Asante.
Hello, Kasmuel. You can hear me well?
I can hear you very clearly.
Okay, I'm very fine, Kasmuel. Thank you very much for the great work that you've been doing for this country. Thank you very much, Wanjira, also. Really, big ups. You guys, you are amazing. Your spoken word is way up. For me, I'm not going to say the things that Ruto have done because nikianza kuzitaja saizi, I don't think I'll finish. What I'm going to ask, I want to ask Buka a question about something he said about the National Alliance Coalition, something like that. So this coalition, what is it exactly and what is it doing? Maybe I got in the space late, kidogo sikusikia vizuri when he was starting the conversation. But so what exactly is this spearheading? Is it civil education and political education? And is it from, and then also I have a question to ask you guys, you the co-host. What are we guys doing about the future leaders of this generation? Because obviously we're going to get rid of these ones who are here right now. Is there a political party being formed? Is this national coalition a political party? Because we need right now to start identifying people who are going to come and now take the seats that they're going to be soon vacant. People who have our visions and our missions, because we cannot just take people out of office and expect those spaces to stay vacant. We have to replace them with people who are competent and people who share our vision. And once these people are inside there, what accountability, what process are we going to follow to see that the same mistake that has gone on, it won't be repeated again? Like, do we have those kind of missions? Do we have those kind of arrangements being arranged somewhere as we continue fighting? Ruto must go. Something else to also ask. The space jana, there was a list, the 13 list that you said you will forward to Willie. Is it possible to post it also in maybe your timeline so that some of us can download and print and pass it over to watu huku kwa barabara? Because like me, I would like to have that list and maybe pass it over to some of the people who could be local so that people can be able to read and see. Maybe some of them who cannot be able to access the internet and ama hawezi fikia wewe kwa hiyo platform yako. It's good. Maybe you can post them to people who are able to print them and pass them down at the kwa grassroots. That's what I have for now. Thank you very much and for what you guys are doing. It's amazing. God bless you and be with you and be safe. Tuko na nyinyi pamoja every day, every time. Hadi we win this war. Asante sana.
Thank you very much for the information, Flo.
Kasmuel, if you could just allow me to answer, there's a very pertinent question she has asked. I will take the shortest time to explain that if you allow me.
I know, my chair, you want to take care of the second part of the question, which you have been very Why are you pushing me? I'm the chairman. Okay. So we have one student to address, and then the next. Two. Okay. Okay. Okure. Let him speak. Okay. High moral. High discipline. High moral. High discipline. Okay. Comrades power. Comrades power. Okay, I'm Comrade Marvin Mabonga from the Technical University of Mombasa, and I'm in for the new funding model where several student leaders were called yesterday at the KICC, and they had a conversation with the president. But now the new funding model. This is not a students-based model. This is a model that is best for the vice chancellors and several student leaders who were called at the State House. Some of them were paid to come and calm down the students. So from now henceforth, we are calling for the students across all the universities, across the public universities, across all the private universities and the TVET institutions to come out in large numbers on the 9th September for mass protest. Because this new funding model, which was introduced last year, it is unconstitutional since all the students were not aware until they were being admitted in the various universities where they are now asked to reapply for the new funding where the sponsorship, they are now being categorized in different bands. So, comrades, at this point, we want unity and we want to call all the student leaders, all the students from all the universities to come out in large numbers so that we can say no to the new funding model. We want to go back to the old model, which was so inclusive. There's no student who was not funded by the university. So thank you so much, and I want to welcome my fellow comrades. Thank you. Don't you. Gonna who. High moral! High moral! High moral! Keva Dibim! Talk. Comrades, viva! Viva! Comrades, power! You see, power! You see, this book is high moral. Please hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, hold on a second. I would like the comrades that are talking there. Wanyamaze. Thank you. So, comrade silence. Comrade silence. Nice one. Down bread-based government, down. Down bread-based government, down. This is the greatest book in the history of Kenya. Thank you. Our forefathers fought for this book to defend us in whatever thing we do. The Constitution of Kenya. We are going to speak without fear of contradiction because we are guaranteed that in this book. We want to say this to Mr. Ruto and get warned. The new funding model is a scam. On Monday 19th, the University of Nairobi admitted students, and in my entire stay in the university, I have been there for the last 7 years. That is the lowest registration the university has ever experienced because of this scam of the new funding model. Now, when you check the bands, I was at the admission desk. Majority of the students, 80% of the students were placed in band 4 and band 5, which is the bands that receive the minority support from the government. Who are the people who are given band 1 and band 2? Comrades, the government scam. Comrades, government scam. Government scam. NMF scam. Jibin. Who are the people who are being allocated band 1 and band 2? We saw parents suffer because they cannot afford to pay the fees. Now, which article or which process is arrived at allocating the bands? We are being told that band 1
are given to students who are previously had gotten some bursaries in high school. Now, those are the people given band ones. And you see what is funny and ironical is that people who receive bursaries are the people who are connected in high school. The rich are the people who receive the bursaries. The poor in the villages never receive the bursaries. So these people who have received the bursaries are assumed to be the poorest and are allocated in band one. That is a scam of a government, a scam. Somebody who claims to be an hustler, who survived in the University of Nairobi through loans and funding from the government, now wants to make education inaccessible to the people of Kenya.
Down with Ruto, down.
They feel down. Anguka na Ruto, anguka na Ruto. Anguka nayo. On the new funding model, on 9th of September, tutanguka nayo. Anguka na new funding model, anguka. Anguka na new funding model, anguka.
Nice one. Kidogo. Comrade Sibim. Comrade Sibim. Comrade Sia. Comrade Sibim. Jensi Sibim. To all Kenyans, we were there during the demonstrations on the streets. Tulianguka na ile ilikuwa inaitwaje? Finance bill. My friends were shot at the parliament and they died. So, we are calling upon all parents, all Kenyans, all universities. Let us come up together so that we can fight on the streets for the rights of your daughters and sons. I am at the University of Nairobi, and I happen to have been when there was orientation and admission of students. And we did a forensic audit. We realized that in a group of 100 students, only 2 were qualified to be registered under the band 1. So I want to tell parents and Kenyans and students across all universities, the new funding model is a scam. It is a scam that has been put there by people who want to loot and embezzle the public funds. We are calling upon the government, Mr. President William Samoei Ruto. He was a student at the University of Nairobi, and he managed to survive courtesy of this, how do we call it, government scholarship. But now you are sabotaging the government scholarship. The government wants to sabotage education because they feel that many Gen Zs are enlightened. We are not going to accept. We are not going to accept. Gen Z, we are not going to accept. We are not going to accept. So, on 2nd, it has been designated, that is the day. We shall come on the street in large numbers. In your University of Nairobi, I will put 3,000 people on the road. Comrade power! Comrade power! It will be messy. We shall not accept. Comrade Tibim!
Okay, viva comrades, viva. Viva comrades, viva. Thank you to our students. I'd love to welcome okay, the COG of the University of Nairobi to offer his remarks, and then we shall have Comrade Muthiora give a few remarks in Swahili. To the students, we want to assure you that if it were not for these universities, we would not be here. We will stand with you to the very end. So please, a few remarks, then we'll have a few remarks from Comrade Muthiora so that our Swahili-speaking audience can also be addressed. Then we will take a few questions from the press.
Long live Ziwati, long live.
Long live.
Long live Ziwati, long live. Long live. No.
Comrades power. Comrades Ria. Comrades Viva. COG power. Universities power. Then NFN down, NFM down. I am Okech Solomon Aira. I am the chairman council. I am Okech Solomon Aira. I am the chairman council of governors, University of Nairobi. I am here as the COG and I represent 13 faculties in my constituency. One thing I want to say is first, I reject the new funding model. I did not make it to KICC yesterday, but I was following the town hall meeting live on the televisions that were being aired. I want to say that for you to listen to Ruto, you need to have a lot of very good shock absorbers because I was almost fainting while watching the town hall meeting live. So the new funding model, one, why we disassociate and we do not agree with what is in the new funding model is the means testing system. If I, a university student, who is doing a bachelor degree cannot understand the means testing system? How will you explain this means testing system database to my grandmother back there in Lakiniero or my grandmother back there in Homa Bay County? So I want to call upon President William Ruto. If you cannot explain to a class 2 how this means testing system works, kindly fire all your office workers and those who employed in the ICT for this means testing system. Second, we reject this new funding model, and I want to call upon all comrades and parents, whether from Turkana, whether from Sugoi, whether from Eldoret, to come out in large numbers on 9th of September. We are going to be on the roads and we are going to march in solidarity. We are not going to be stopped. We are not going to fear anyone. We know that in Kenya there is freedom of speech, but freedom after speech is not guaranteed. We want to say we are not going to fear. Viva comrades, viva! Viva! Viva comrades, viva! Viva! Asanteni sana, tukutane kwa streets on date 9. Thank you.
Viva comrades, viva!
Viva!
Viva comrades, viva!
Viva!
One mic.
One voice.
One mic.
One voice.
Nipo hapa sasa kupokea maswali kutoka kwa wenzetu wa media ikiwa mna maswali. Lakini kabla nifanye hivyo, ningependa kuwapa ratiba ya ile mikakati ambayo iko. Number one of our coalition partners, that is Free Kenya, after this press conference will hit the CBD in continuation of the signature collection exercise they've been collecting in preparation of a People's Assembly's referendum. So please welcome them wherever you are and sign up. Number two, we have court cases, both at the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. You recall that the Supreme Court gave stay orders after the Court of Appeal had ruled Finance Bill 2023 unconstitutional. You remember that? So we have those cases out there, and we would like for you to follow up on the progress so that we can have justice. William Ruto, in 23 very short months, has violated the first 14 chapters of our constitution. Tutaendelea kuongozwa na kiongozi kama huyo? Ndio maana tunasema kwamba at 1400 hours, kesho Katiba Day, if you will not be with us in the streets, kama utakuwa jikoni, ama utakuwa sebuleni, ama utakuwa dereva kwa gari, ama abiria kwa bodaboda, ama kazini, pause, reflect, jiulize kama umefanya ya kutosha kuendesha taifa la Kenya. Article 3 of our constitution calls on every person to defend the constitution of Kenya. That's our call tomorrow. So usiseme kwamba hauna wengine, you have the time to mobilize. Shujaa Julius Kamau amekuwa single-handedly kila siku kwenye barabara na mitaa ya Nairobi. Wazazi, ikiwa hamtajiunga na watoto wenu Gen Z, basi muanze kujiandaa kutafuta watoto wengine. Manake wito wetu ni kwamba tutakomboa taifa la Kenya within our generation. Viva comrades, viva! Viva! So I will take questions in case you have any. Remember, this has been convened by a provisional body under the National Provisional Coordination Committee of the People's Assembly. And like Buka outlined, our footprint is across the country. So please, members of the press, feel free to fill those questions. Mko sawa? Viva comrades, viva! Viva! Viva comrades, viva! Viva! Nitaomba tufunge sasa, nitamuita mwenzangu hapa, tunafunga na wimbo tu, alafu members of the press tutakuwa tuko huko nje, we'll take care of the other things.
Viva comrades, viva!
of Kenya. All sovereign power
belongs to the people of Kenya.
As people of this country, as patriots of Kenya, we have gathered here today to say we cannot continue living in an active crime scene and do nothing about it. We cannot continue with the wake of corruption, with the wake of abductions, with the wake of police killings, with the wake of everything wrong that is going on in this government, and be silent and continue as though nothing happened. Our comrades still lie 6 feet under. We remember Rex Masai and all the comrades we lost during 25th. We remember the women who were dumped in Kware. Na huyo mtu akaachiliwa ati, you know, the madness that this state has been showing us. So we are here to call on all Kenyan citizens to come to the streets tomorrow and reclaim our sovereignty. Kenya ni ya Wakenya, sio ya William Samoei Ruto, sio ya Raila, sio ya Meg Whiteman, sio ya imperialist na neocolonialist ambao wametukandamiza kwa miaka na mikaka. Tuna rise kama generation ya Wakenya leo kusema we are interested in birthing a new republic that respects human rights, that respects the rule of law, and that upholds social justice for the people of Kenya. People power.
Our power.
People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
Our power.
People power.
Down, down with neocolonialism, down.
Down.
Down, down with corruption, down.
Down.
Down, down with police killings, down.
Down.
Down, down with abductions, down.
Down.
Down, down with imperialism, down.
Down.
Down, down with the broad-based government, down.
Down.
Down, down with Ruto, down.
Down.
Down, down with Rigathi, down.
Down.
Down, down with Raila, down.
Down.
Now I'd like to take this moment to welcome my comrade Kasmuel. Comrade McOure, sorry.
Viva comrades, viva!
Viva!
Viva comrades, viva!
Viva! Kabla tuendelee, tutasoma statement ambayo ilikuwa imeandaliwa na coalition. So I will ask Professor Ogola to say a few words, and then Buka and Wanjera will jointly read the press statement for us, and then Kasmuel will take it from there. Thank you. Buka, please, the statement.
Who are the people? We are the people.
We are the people.
We are the people.
Comrades power.
Power.
Comrades viva.
Viva!
According to me, I want to say that there is no need of dialoguing with somebody who is illegitimate, and the illegitimacy is not from the constitutional side, it's failure to do what he was supposed to do as an allegiance to the constitution.
Viva comrades, viva!
Viva!
We have a constitution, we have laws of Kenya, we have government policies which are a manual to run this country. This country has a manual, a governance manual. When you have a manual for operating your phone, why should you have dialogue with somebody how to operate the phone? So William Ruto has got the three manuals: the constitution, the laws of Kenya, the policies of Kenya, and is not only unable, but is uninterested. So we cannot discuss with you something outside the constitution like Hustler Fund. We cannot discuss about the university education funding model, which is unconstitutional.
No.
It is not following the constitution. It does not follow the laws of Kenya. It does not follow the manual. So we have no interest in discussing unconstitutional mechanisms. We only discuss things within the constitution.
Yes.
That's why we don't recognize the broad-based government. We don't recognize the prime secretary in Musalia Mudavadi. We just don't recognize Ruto's government. Secondly, and this is my last point, those telling us to give Ruto more time should tell us time to do what? Because he has got everything we have said.
Yes.
Before we went to the street, we said everything in the social media. We said everything in the mainstream media. We said everything in space. They know what we want. They are unable and are interested to do what we want. Are we giving them time to kill us further?
No.
Are we giving them more time to continue stealing from our country?
No.
Are we giving them time to mislead us?
No.
Are we giving them time to mislead our constitution?
No.
No time, Ruto, no time.
No time.
No time, Ruto, no time.
No time.
No time, Ruto, no time.
No time.
Ruto must go because he has refused and is uninterested to do what is clear in the constitution. To appoint the cabinet, it is in the constitution. To appoint, to pass a budget, he cannot pass a budget according to the constitution since he took over office. He cannot appoint a cabinet secretary according to the constitution. He gives us recycle and reuse leaders who are obsolete. We want people to bring meritocracy. And I end by telling you that there are two horses in town. The first horse is led by William Ruto and Raila Odinga, who are trading on tribal alliances and tribal arithmetic, isn't it? On corruption, on lies, and broken promises. The second horse is the one we are seeing standing here. This horse is about issues based, about our economy, about the constitution, about Kenyans' livelihoods, about Kenyans' comfort, about Kenyans' future. So Kenyans, choose which horse you trade with from today.
Yes.
A corrupt horse, a tribal horse, a lying horse, and a horse that is going to salvage this country and bring it back to the root of prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Viva, comrade, viva! 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 Viva!
High morale,
High discipline.
high discipline.
High morale.
So today, we present a statement signed by 54 progressive organizations, revolutionary political leaders, social justice centers, under the common umbrella of the National Provisional Coordination Committee of People's Assembly, whose spokesman is Comrade Kasmuel. The 54 organizations include the Communist Party of Kenya, that I serve as the National Vice Chairperson of Kenya, the Revolutionary Socialist League. We have the chairperson of the Revolutionary Socialist League, Comrade Maganga, the National Student Caucus. We have the All African People's Revolutionary Party. We have Social Justice Working Group by Comrade Happy Olal. We have Kenya Palestine Solidarity Movement. We have Siasa Place. We have Kongamano la Mapinduzi, International League of People Struggles, Young Communist League, Free Kenya Movement, Revolutionary Students Commission, United Green Movement Party, Ukweli Party, Tribeless Youth, Red Vest Movement, Haki Kwetu Social Justice Center, Until Everyone is Free, World March of Women, Madare Social Justice Center, Kayole Social Justice Center, Dandora Social Justice Center, Kasarani Social Justice Center, Dagoretti Social Justice Center, Mukuru Social Justice Center, Nanyuki Social Justice Center, Kondele Social Justice Center, Mlango Kubwa Social Justice Center, Mombasa People's Assembly, Kibera West Speakers, Medical Interns Caucus, JSS Teachers National Strike Committee, Social Justice Traveling Theater, Women in Social Justice, Socialist Workers Movement, Sowomo, Kisumu Peace and Justice Center, Organic Intellectuals, Msingi Trust, Kangemi Grassroots Movement, Kenya Peasants League, Kibera Feminist Network, Korogosho Peace and Justice Center, Wahenga Youth Organization, National Reconstruction Alliance Party led by Comrade Omtatah, Article 43 Committee on Coordination of Njaa Revolution, Kenya Ni Home led by Mercy Tarus, Kenya Bora Tuitakayo, Kiamaiko Social Justice Center, Makadara Social Justice Center, Concerned Citizen Movement led by Professor Fred Ogola, Turkana People's Assembly, and the group of Dobby women and Dobby workers. Call for a total shutdown on Katiba Day. Fellow Kenyans, as we approach August 27th, a day we have long celebrated as Katiba Day, the day we commemorated the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, we stand at a critical juncture in our nation's history. The Constitution, which symbolizes our collective struggle for justice, democracy, and freedom, is under vicious assault by the very man who swore to defend it, President William Samoei Ruto. Down with Ruto, down.
Down!
Ruto is not just a failed leader, but a man at war with his own people. Under his regime, Kenya has been plunged into darkness, Over 345 innocent finest men and women of our great country, Kenya, have been brutally murdered in extrajudicial killings sanctioned by the state. These are not just statistics. These are our brothers, sisters, children, and friends. We cannot and we will not be ruled by a man who has turned the instrument of state into tools of terror against his own people. Down with extrajudicial killing, down. Down. Adding to this grave injustice is the unholy alliance between a tiny network of billionaires who plunder our nation's wealth, the corrupt government led by Ruto, and the opportunist opposition opposition led by Raila Odinga. Down with Raila, down. Down. This so-called government of national unity is nothing more than a coalition of hyenas and vultures feeding off the corpses of our comrades martyred by the state. Long live Rex Masai, long live. Long live. They are united in their greed, their thirst for power, and their utter contempt for the Kenyan people. This alliance is a betrayal of everything we hold dear, a dark chapter in our history that seeks to crush the spirits of a free, independent, and sovereign Kenya. Let it be known, only when this super reactionary class is crushed to atoms will our nation be truly and free. Long live Kenya, long live. Long live. The economic crisis under Ruto's rule is devastating. Our country is drowning in illegitimate debt. Our young people are jobless, and the cost of living is skyrocketing. The dreams of millions of Kenyans are being crushed under the weight of a regime that has lost all moral authority to govern. But the greatest betrayal lies in the blatant violation of the Constitution. In just 22 months, comrades, Ruto has trampled on our supreme law 34 times. He has subverted our institutions, undermined our independence of the independence of judiciary and parliament, and brought disrepute to the highest office in land. This man is unfit to hold any public office. Down with Ruto, down. Down. Down with Ruto, down. Down. We must act, and we must act now. On this day, August 26th, we are calling for a total shutdown of nation. Tomorrow, August 27th, Katiba Day, will not just be a day of commemoration. It will be a day of mass action. We are announcing a general strike, a protest against the tyranny of William Ruto, and a demand for his immediate resignation. We will not rest until justice is done, until our constitution is upheld, until Ruto is removed from power. President Ruto, your time is up. We have betrayed you have betrayed the trust of the Kenyan people, violated our constitution, and trampled on the legacy of those who sacrificed everything for our freedom. The people have spoken, and they demand your resignation. You have only one option left: step down or removed by the wrath of the people. Long live the people, long live. Long live. Our power, people's power. Our power, people's power. People power, our power. People power, our power. Our power, people's power. Who are the people? We are the people. Who are the people? We are the people.
Ruto ni mwizi, ni wazimu wa ukweli.
Ruto ni mwizi, ni wazimu wa ukweli.
Ruto ni mwizi, ni wazimu wa ukweli.
Ruto ni mwizi, ni wazimu wa ukweli. Wa ukweli. Wa ukweli. Wa ukweli. Wazimu wa ukweli. Ruto ni mwizi, ni wazimu wa ukweli. Wa ukweli. Wa ukweli. Wa ukweli. Wa ukweli.
More power to the people, more power.
More power.
All power to the people, all power.
All power.
All power to the people of Kenya, all power.
All power.
Thank you so much, Comrade Buka. Now we continue to say that a regime that cannot implement the Constitution of Kenya 2010, cannot uphold the rule of law, is killing Kenyans, is corrupt to the very core, is a regime that does not deserve to lead the great people of this nation. Tunakataa? Tunakataa uongozi mbaya wa Ruto. Repeat after me. Tunakataa?
Tunakataa uongozi mbaya wa Ruto.
Now, in full compliance of Article 1 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, we, the sovereign people of this country, hereby declare that the people shall reclaim our national sovereignty and establish a pro-people's government that reflects the true will of Kenyans, free from influence of corrupt elites. Down, down with neocolonialism, down.
Down.
Down, down with imperialism, down.
Down.
Number two, we shall implement economic justice by implementing policies that prioritize job creation, affordable living, and equitable distribution of resources. Forward with social justice, forward.
Forward.
Cement accountability and justice and hold those responsible for corruption and extrajudicial killings accountable through transparent legal process.
Mic check. You've been doing even up to today. So go for it, sir.
Well, comrades, this is where we are at. Whatever has been agreed upon so far is that we have Kasmuel McOure as the spokesperson for the National Provisional Coordination Committee of People's Assemblies, if you like, NPCCPA. This is a coalition of various organizations. At this point, there are 58 of them. But besides the organizations, we have individuals as well who are members of this coalition. Now, these are people who met during the Gen Z protests. That revolution that brought Kenyans together, that was faceless, that was leaderless, that was tribeless, that was partyless, is the root cause of whatever we are currently engaged in. So we were joined by this thirst, this desire to have good governance and accountability. And so that being the base upon which all these people were demonstrating, we saw the need to consolidate the gains that the movement had brought to this nation. That for once, we had a country where tribe did not matter, where merit was all that Kenyans were concerned about. So far nothing is decided upon. It's a provisional coalition where everyone is giving of themselves whatever they are able to. For instance, Kasmuel has volunteered this platform free of charge. He's volunteered his time. You've heard what Wanjira has described as the work they are doing in Madare. And we are asking people to bring in whatever expertise they've got to join in. You heard about Oeba and what they were doing till very late last night. There is this new jam that Nonini and others have come up with. So we are inviting all and sundry that first, let us educate our people. Let us raise the level of civic and political education among the people. And then the people will eventually decide if they want a party or they want to form a coalition with the parties that are already part of this coalition, or what way forward. So currently, what we are trying to do is to reach out to the people. We've been listening and we've been engaging, but we realize that there is still a gap that needs to be filled. So we are urging you all to come together, join in, support those who are already out there leafleting, pamphleteering, educating, injecting, and then in good time, leadership will form. And then we will know if we will form a party or if we will allow for the parties that are already members of this coalition to form a coalition, and then we take power. All we are doing currently is we are organizing to take power. That we are sure of. How we are going to do that will be decided after we've completed the first phase of injecting and educating the Kenyan public. Buka, if you're ready, I would like to pass the mic to you so you can provide the other details.
Yeah, first of all, I'm very happy with the flow about her comments, because the corrupt opposition leader has been scaring the Kenyan people that if the power falls in the streets, we don't have competent young patriots that can lead this country. So this has been the propaganda piling up. In fact, according to them, they're not even relying on the Constitution, Article 1, that states that there can be a direct people's assembly to exercise the rights of the Kenyan people collectively, directly, without having to rely on the people who have actually undermined, not just our sovereignty, but undermined every little right that we went to poll for in the election day. But the idea of forming a political party has to be widely consultative and inclusive to the majority of the Kenyan people who would like a better country for the majority of the people. So this is a consultative forum that clearly is going to advance not just civic education, but popular education, popular political education, to make Kenyans understand clearly who the enemies is. Because if we don't understand the enemy, we cannot defeat the enemy. So one of our tasks as the members, as true parties of this country, is to clearly point the finger at the enemies of the people. And that is the task we set ourselves to do. That the enemies of the people, it is not the enemy of the people is not just Ruto. The enemy of the people is this broad-based coalition that is not just broad-based, but called broad-based, but represents a minority of billionaires. These minority billionaires don't produce anything. They are only conveyor belts of international, capital. They do not have industries, but they are rich. They have captured the politics. These are people who are top invoicers of work not done in government. They are only told just to invoice and they are paid. These are the class of people that we must struggle to remove from power. So the collective is welcoming that at the very end of it, we are going to have a political instrument. This political instrument will either be a coalition of political parties, or it will be a political parties that is built through popular initiative from below to take direct power from these enemies of the people. So we are widening the consultative that each and every member, you have a voice to support this national provisional coordination committee for people's assembly. We are saying provisional in the sense that provisional means it is not complete. Because when it is complete, then it will be the National Coordination Committee for the People's Assembly. And now we only have 13 points why Ruto must go. Then we have another document called the Tunakata, which basically means we have refused to be dominated by the lackeys of foreign interest and the billionaires locally that have hijacked our processes to multiply their wealth at the expense of the Kenyan people. So we are promoting the program, the political program of what we want and don't want, attracting the people from the grassroots to join us, and then populate our ranks and declare ourselves the national, the national popular movement for the people, and then move steadfastly and overzealously to take political power to actually run the affairs of our country in the best interest of the majority of the people. So that is why we are saying that Mudiora is part of the. So far, we have only set the spokesperson's office because we think Kasmuel has been doing a good work to mobilize the people on our side. We have also set up a secretariat for volunteers to actually help us to organize spaces, to keep contacts with the people. So the Secretariat is doing a lot of work in regard to making sure that the communication reaches the people. So we have the National Secretariat, and we hope that many Kenyans, many organizations can come on board. The only qualification that you have to meet is that you must love Kenya so dearly that you are willing to pay a price for. You must be a true patriot that want to defend the interest of the Kenyan people. That is the only qualification that is required.
Thank you
I'll
very
give
much,
you Kas.
Comrade Booker. Thank you very much. So anyone who's wondering what this is, it's not a thing that was just formed by mistake. And I would say this, when I started going out for the protests, I was just roaming the streets, doing the patriotic things that all of you who are on this space were doing. But then as time went by, I met a few very organized people or who are on the streets, who are in the social justice centers, who are in several people's assemblies. And I realized that it is important for you to have a sense of belonging, because these are the people who are going to look for you. These are the people who are going to look out for you, even when you are on the streets. So this is a provisional committee which includes all people's assemblies in the country, social justice centers in the country. And we're not talking about Nairobi. We are talking about even people's assemblies in Turkana, in Kisumu, in Migori, in Kitale. All those places, we have all these people. We're also working on co-opting the Bunge la Wananchi. We have also representatives. We also have political parties within this coalition. And that's why we're saying it is not locked. This is not a thing where people have sat down and decided amongst themselves. There have been several meetings where all patriots are also welcome, so that you also understand what it is that the people are doing. So please, thank you very much, Flo, for that question. I would like to give the mic right now to I'll do it in this order. I know Fabish, you've been on the line, and Comrade Gisore. I would like you both to speak. Just take 2 minutes each, and then after Fabish and Comrade Gisore, I'll give the mic to Wakili Willis Evans. Then it will go to Boni Mtetezi, who has been a very, very active uh, agitator for social change, especially coming from Kisumu, and has endured the brunt force of police brutality and abductions. Then we'll go to Engineer David. So Fabish, then Comrade Gisore, then we'll go to Akili Willis, who has also been doing quite a bit of work in our liberation, quite vibrant in these spaces, and also on the ground, but also whose party leader also recently faced detention and vandalism from this rogue state. So please, Fabish, please go, and then in that order.
Asante sana Kamanda Kasmuel, mwanaharakati Wanjiru, mwanaharakati Broka, wanaharakati wote ambao tuko hapa pamoja na wakereketwa wa kuweza kushikana pamoja kuhakikisha kwamba tunang'atua hii serikali mbovu, serikali ya udhulumiaji na udhalimu, ili tuweze kupata serikali ambao ni serikali ya wananchi na serikali ambao inafaa kuwa tunajivunia na kuendeleza taifa letu mbele. Sitakuwa na mengi ya kusema sababu mengi yashanenwa na walionitangulia wamezungumza mengi, na yale ambao hata mimi pia ninashikilia. Lakini kitu ambacho tu ningetaka kushikilia ni kuwa tunaona uharibifu katika hii serikali, ubaribifu wa pesa ambao unaona ni watu ambao wanatumia bila kujali, manake washakiuka misingi zote za kikatiba. Sasa imekuwa sasa ni uporaji na udhulumiaji wa pesa. Unaangalia kwa mfano rais anaenda kanisani, alafu wale mawaziri wanaandamana pamoja na yeye, hata ule ambao si Mkristo. Unapata hata kama Hassan Joho ambao ni Muislamu, lakini ameingia kwenda kanisani. Hizo magari, hizo mafuta ambao wanatumia tunalipia sisi wananchi. When will we see, when we talk of accountability, we mean accountability in every coin that we pay, you know, as a taxpayers. When you go to Bunge Towers, 9 o'clock, utaona mataa zinawaka mpaka kesho asubuhi. They don't care. Because it is us that we are suffering. So, juzi tunasikia ofisi ya Bitaifa, Recho, ati wamekunywa maziwa 24 million for only 2 years. Na hata wamekosa kulipa. You know, Kenya imekuwa ni drama. So, when we are saying that we have to stop this regime, is because so that we can be able to account for every coin that we pay as a tax in this country. Saizi walimu wanaenda kugoma, watoto wetu, mandugu zetu, madada zetu hawezi kupata elimu. Kwa hivyo tukiongea kuwa misingi yetu ya kidemokrasia imedhulumiwa, the principles of democracy imedhulumiwa, lazima wananchi wajue kwamba tufanye civic education, elimu ya uraia. Watu unajua ile shida nimeona kwamba tuko nayo ni kuwa watu wengi hawaelewi human rights, haki zao za kimsingi. Hawajui kwamba mtoto kukosa elimu hiyo ni haki ya msingi, imedhulumiwa. Hawajui kwamba kwenda hospitali na kukosa dawa, kuambia uende ununue chemist, hiyo ni haki yako ya msingi, imedhulumiwa. Hawajui kwamba kupigwa risasi ama kushikwa ovyo ovyo bila sababu ya kutosha, hiyo ni haki yako ya msingi, imedhulumiwa. Na pia wanasahau kwamba mtu wote ambao anadhulumu haki yako ya msingi, huyo ni criminal, huyo anafaa kwenda jela. Na haijalishi kwamba huyo mtu anadhulumu haki yako ya msingi ni nani. Haijalishi awe ni polisi, haijalishi awe ni waziri, haijalishi awe ni mbunge, haijalishi awe ni rais. Katiba ile ambayo tuliweka katika taifa letu la Kenya ilikuwa ni katiba ya kuleta usawa katika wananchi wote, hakukuwa na mkubwa wala mdogo. Sasa rais akishadhulumu katiba, akishadhulumu haki zetu za kimsingi, akishadhulumu zile articles zote ziko katika katiba, ni nini tena ingine inafanyika? Kwanza ni kumaanisha kwamba ashakosa hiyo nafasi ya kukuwa rais. Sababu kuwa rais unakula kiapo ya kusema kwamba utailinda hiyo katiba na mujibu wa sheria zote zile zilizoko ndani. Hiyo ni kumaanisha nini? Hiyo ni kumaanisha kwamba ni kama vile Muislamu. Ukitaka kuwa Muislamu unaenda unaswalishwa, unapatiwa mambo ya kusema, then unataja, unakariri, sasa unakuwa Muislamu. Wakati umekosa kufuata misingi ya Qurani, hiyo tayari ushauasi Uislamu. Ndivyo hivyo katika uongozi. Wewe umeingia uongozi kwa mujibu wa katiba na sheria. Ikiwa kipenge hata moja katiba utaidhulumu pale, tayari uongozi wako ushauasi. Ndio sababu wakati tunafanya elimu uraia, lazima watu wajue watu wanafikiria ati labda baka Ruto akuje atupe chemical fulani ama miminie watu karibu 10,000 risasi ndio julikane kwamba ati amekuwa dictator, amekiuka katiba. Hapana. Katika demokrasia iliyostawi ambao Kenya tunasema kwamba tuna haki ya kupata demokrasia iliyostawi, wala hatuhitaji idhini ya mtu wowote. Ni haki yetu, manake sisi tunalipa tax, sisi kama wananchi tuko na haki zetu na tunajua kwamba tunatekeleza wajibu wetu wa wananchi kama vile inavyofaa. Na sisi tunatarajia pia viongozi walioko madarakani watekeleze wajibu wao vile inafaa. Na vile inafaa ni vipi? Iko katika sheria. Hiyo ndio Biblia yetu, hiyo ndio Qurani yetu. Juzi wakati tulijitokeza tukaenda street, tulienda kwa mujibu wa katiba. Kwa hivyo tunasema kwamba Ruto hafai kufika tena mwaka wa 2027 sababu ashakiuka sheria, ashadhulumu katiba na ana tena na mamlaka ya kuwa rais wetu wa Kenya. Na sasa hii kongamano ambao tunaenda kutengeneza, ambao ni kongamano la taifa, kongamano la Wakenya. Na sasa sisi wenyewe tutaamua mustakabala wa nchi yetu, tuamue kwamba tutatengeneza namna gani serikali. Kwa hivyo mimi 100% niko katika hii kongamano na niko katika hii harakati, wote tunapigania ukombozi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana Bwana Fabish kwa mjadala huo. Tunashukuru sana kwa mchango wako. Asante sana, and let us keep on injecting at all our particular spaces. Labda kabla uondoke Bwana Fabish, unatoka katika kongamano lipi? Je, uko kwa chama, uko katika People's Assembly yoyote ile?
Kusema kweli kama mimi mambo ya vyama nimekuwa hata niliasi kutoka kitambo, sababu niliona kwamba inatumia tu kama conduits ya kudhulumu watu na udanganyifu mwingi. Kwa hivyo mimi 100% sasa niko katika kongamano kama hili ambao kwamba ni chama ya kukomboa watu, kuweka watu huru. Tumekuwa katika vyama tofauti, lakini tumeona kwamba hizo vyama hazijaweza kuleta mabadiliko yote.
Naam. Asante sana kwa hayo, kwa sababu kila Mkenya ambaye anatusikiza tunajaribu kuambia kwamba mnapotusikiza hapa, hii si chama ya kisiasa. Kongamano hili ni tumeleta tu vikundi vingi vinavyowakilisha Wakenya tofauti katika stakabadhi tofauti na maeneo tofauti, kusema kwamba tumechoka kuuawa katika maandamano, tumechoka kushtakiwa bure, tumechoka kudhulumiwa, na tunasema tumekuja pamoja. Kama we ni Mkenya ambaye umechoka na uongozi huu mbaya wa serikali ya Bwana Ruto, tunasema kwamba jiunge na kongamano hili, kisha tutaamua kule mbele. Hatuseme kwamba we are the leaders of the movement. Tunasema kwamba chochote unachofanya jaribu uifanye katika kongamano, kwa sababu tukiwa pamoja hatuwezi kuuawa au kudhulumiwa kuliko ukiwa peke yako. Asante sana. And now I would love to welcome Wakili. I know I was seeing it was Comrade Gisore was supposed to go next, but I don't see him on the speakers panel anymore. So I would love to welcome Wakili Evans. Wakili, thank you for the good work that you have been doing. Thank you for standing for justice and for the right. You've been doing this for a very long time. You've talked about debt. You've presented presidential petitions. We'd love to hear from you at this juncture, Wakili.
Thank you very much, Samuel, and all the participants. I appreciate the work that all of us are doing in our respective spaces. The main thing I have to say is that it is important that we note that William Ruto is going. It's just a question of him buying time. And the more we put the pressure and we point out the failures and challenges of his regime, the more people are going to get back to help push the quest for his living. And we are not just removing William Ruto from power. We are actually removing an entire system, a system that has been about oppressing and enslaving the people of Kenya. It is also important that we note, I've had one of the speakers suggest that we need to organize ourselves as a political party. That is the easiest thing for the political class. The moment you have a political party, they'll put you in their space and you compete with them. Let us take this moment as we are fighting this failed regime to actually concretize what are the key issues that Kenyans believe in, the core, that whichever administration we have will never deviate from that core. This is the time when we are creating an ideology that should be about Kenya. Let's make Kenya to make meaning for all Kenyans. That anybody, whoever becomes president, whoever gets into government, should never deviate from that core. Because once we achieve this revolution, it achieves its intended objective. You will actually now start realizing a country that works for its people, not a country that works with a few people. So I just urge us not to get distracted by turning this movement to a political party at this stage. This should be about ideology. This should be about the core that every Kenyan, irrespective of who they are, where they are, the fight is about them. Even if they belong to UDA, that failed political party, they should feel that the cause is for a better Kenya for all of us. So I just want to encourage all of us, wherever we are in our spaces, in our various engagements, we keep speaking the issues that affect all of us and encourage each other to achieve the objective. The quest for the Katiba Day is a good rallying point, and we need to make 27th a big day, that Kenyans have a consciousness. Let those who are opposing this to tell us they don't believe in the Constitution. Of course, they'll be in the minority, and they cannot overcome the voice of the people. So let us all, in our spaces, try to rally people towards a big Katiba Day that reawakens the national consciousness on the quest for a better Kenya, the promise of our Constitution. If you notice the politicians who got their positions through the Constitution, they are all comfortable. They can walk from opposition straight into government, walk from government straight to opposition. It suits them because the political seats were secured in the Constitution. But the economic promise of that Constitution has never been achieved. And that is the core of what people are fighting for now. We are now fighting for a country that makes meaning to all Kenyans, irrespective of those who want to get into politics. Not everybody actually wants even to be a politician. Not everybody wants to be in a leadership position in public service. But the country must work for them in their respective space. They should be able to enjoy the fruits of our liberation as a Kenyan and irrespective of their political beliefs. That is why I encourage that we make Katiba Day a very big day and raise that national consciousness on what Kenyans actually deserve and what Kenyans will get. I don't spend much time talking about William Ruto anymore. I do believe where I sit that that's a sinking ship. That's a regime that has collapsed. The people have withdrawn their sovereignty. The only thing he has going is that he's now breathing on Raila's oxygen. That I'm not sure how long that oxygen will sustain him in that office. There are so many things that will happen in the near future that will actually drive more and more Kenyans back to the streets. The issue of this economy, the failed economic promise, the overborrowing that they've done, the illegal debts they've taken, a time is coming when they are all going to come to a head and the people of Kenya will not take it anymore. At that point, I do believe that we may actually end up having people going out on the streets and not going back. But that will be achieved if we maintain the pressure, if we maintain the conversation, so that people are aware. The level of awareness is on a high level. I like what Willie Oeba is doing with the spoken word in matatus, in public spaces. So more and more of us should keep that kind of engagement with the people. And a specific target to the border groups, that this cause is bigger than the 1,000 bob that they're given to undermine the quest for a better Kenya. Maybe we should just have also a targeted approach to that constituency so that they should also need to own this kind of conversation and even host their own spaces to discuss their issues. Because the bad governance that we are facing it because of the failures of the regime. Many borders are actually riding borders as a default. People have expertise, they have qualifications that are beyond just riding a motorbike. But because of the failed economy, you are now reduced to become a border rider. You find some of them are actually graduates, some of them are trained artisans, some of them have specialized skills. But the economy is not creating jobs commensurate with their qualification. So they end up being misused. Some of them, not all of them, some of them end up being misused to carry out the kind of things that we've seen some borders doing. But then also within the sector, we have so many borders who are supporting this cause and have, on occasion, stood up to even rebuff attempts by those who are been hired to infiltrate the movement. So we need to actually sensitize them more to be now on the alert so that even if we have a demonstration and the regime decides to hire borders, the first defenders should be the various borders that own those stages. That saying, you are not going to do this in our stage. You are not going to undermine the exercise of our constitutional duty and hide behind our cap to achieve that nefarious action. Thank you very much, Kasmuel, and I encourage us to continue with this engagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wakili, also for your commitment and dedication to this. For this particular half, because we are just about 40 minutes away from the end of the space, for this particular half, I'd love to give this over to Comrade Wanjiro for moderation, and to Comrade Buka, my co-hosts. Please, Wanjira, take over. You bring up the speakers, but remember, we also, for the end of this round, I'd love Comrade Boniface from Kisumu, Boniface Akach, Comrade Boniface Akach, to just give us what his experiences have been like, and then I'll hand over the microphones to Comrade Wanjira and
announcement.
Yes.
I just wanted to request the people that are in the space that probably you can retweet the space so that it's on your timelines. That will also help us to move more numbers on our side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Buka. As Comrade Buka said, if you can and you love what you're listening to on the space, please share it. Also, the recording will be up. Keep on sharing so that we keep on preserving the dignity of these voices and amplifying this message. Before I hand over the microphone to Comrade Wanjira, who's my lovely co-host and my sister in struggle, Comrade Boniface Ogutu Akach from Kisumu, please share with us your experiences as a Mwana Mageuzi, as a Mwana Maharakati who has been leading several protests. And then Comrade Wanjira, please remember the timelines so that we can have as many people being admitted onto the speakers panel. Thank you. Comrade Boni, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Kasmuel, and I really appreciate you organizing this very important platform for us to speak about the things that matter to us. Indeed, it has not been a walk in the park for us. Even in Kisumu, we have seen a lot of us have been targeted during this protest since they began. A lot of us have been killed. We have people who've been abducted, tortured. A lot of us have been taken to court over malicious prosecutions. Right now, we have seen that KRA and this year. Yes, comrade, you can hear me?
If you're admitted as a speaker, please let us respect the dignity of the other speakers. Please have your microphones off until it is your turn to speak. Asante. Comrade Bonnie, please continue.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I almost thought I was speaking alone. So like I said, it has not been a walk in the park. Personally, on the 23rd of June, my offices were raided by unknown people. Targeted property was stolen. On the 17th of July, I was shot at close range using a tear gas canister. On the 23rd of same July, that's when I was abducted, tortured, presented before court on very malicious, now undergoing malicious prosecution. It is very sad that police officers now from Kondele police station, more than 10 of them have now come up as witnesses to frame me. KRA is already on my back. The DCIs also tried to grab me again with their Subaru one time when I was traveling to Nairobi. But then again, we know that revolution is not a walk in the park. For us, we know that it is the real generals who bear the scars, and we shall not relent. We will continue. I want to say, and I want to speak strongly on behalf of the people of Kisumu. One is that we fully support the idea of joining the coalition because its time has come. We noticed that there was a gap during the previous protest. There was no coordination, and this made it easy for people to infiltrate and even try and redirect our agendas. It is very important for us now to build solidarity, to consolidate our power from all the regions within the country and ensure that we organize to take political power. It is very important for us as a coalition to now nationalize it. We make sure that tufikie watu wote in all the counties, in all the communities around Kenya, because everybody relates to the things that we speak to. Everybody knows that Ruto's time is up, and everybody is just looking for a way of engaging and being part of the process. So the moment we spread our structures to the ground, then this will be a national process. Two, I want to say that Ruto's time is up. We don't even need to give him any more time. And even as the people of Kisumu, we are saying that on Katiba Day, we are going to be out there to ensure that we make our voice heard. This is not even a broad-based government. Hii inaitwa bread-based government. Hao watu wanagawa tu bread hapo juu. Ukiangalia tu hizi appointment zote zenye zinapeanwa, ni za ma cronies, ni za ma friends, ni za ma concubines. We don't read anything about providing alternative for Kenya. Tunaona kama hii gava bado inaendelea na police brutality na hizo witch hunt. We are still seeing grabbings. We are still seeing abductions. We are still seeing people being profiled. Key young people who are being targeted and are being persecuted by this very regime. We have not seen any effort by this government to address the demands zenye sisi tulipeana. Hiyo imegeuka tu saizi yao ni political witch hunting, ni kuposture tu kutafuta nani atiju. Now this person comes from this particular reason. Then sasa wacha tumweke hapa, then that will cool down the people. Those are things that would only work in the past regimes, in the past generations, in the past political dispensation yenye tumetoka. Hiyo ni Kenya ya kitambo. Hii Kenya ya sahi yenye sisi tunasema we don't even want to care ati wewe unatoka political party gani, hatutaki hata kujua wewe unatoka tribe gani, hatutaki hata kujua wewe uko kwa social class gani. We want a Kenya where everybody is respected. Hizo vitu zenye ati sasa wanadhania ati wakileta Raila hapo ati sasa wamecontrol Nyanza, ati nao wanaleta Joho wamecontrol Mombasa. Those are things that we don't want. I want to urge everybody, all members of the community wenye wanasikiza na wenye hata bado hawajajoin, kwanza to join hii coalition, to make sure that hapo tumeweza kuconsolidate power yetu, tumeweza kuconsolidate strength yetu, so that we are able to achieve what this revolution should achieve. Two, we must make sure that we don't relent. We don't let our process, our protests and this revolutionary process be hijacked by busybodies, by the political class. That's why it is very important for us to join this coalition so that we can speak with one voice. Kasmuel Wanjira, mazee sisi tunawapenda sana hapa Kisumu, muendelee hivyo hivyo. Tumeendorse Kasmuel wewe kama spokesman wetu, na pia tumeendorse activities za hii coalition. Tukutaneni on Tuesday kwa street. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa contribution yangu.
Thank you very much, Comrade Boni. What Comrade Boni might not have told you is that it is they're also facing very, very heavy police brutality and some of the charges that are being leveled against people. Maybe, Comrade Boni, what are the most ridiculous charges you've seen leveled against people who are caught at the maandamano? Just so that you paint a clear picture of what is happening, so that people might understand that this is not business as usual.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, the police are professional liars, especially in Kisumu. You know, for the last like 8 years, Kisumu haijai maliza 5 years bila maandamano and state perpetrated violence. For the last 8 years, Ruto's regime is worse. Ruto, since he took power, he's brutalized us in 2022. He brutalized us in 2023. During the first anti-finance bill protest. Actually, that is the first time I was abducted. He brutalized us in 2024. We have seen, there's a young girl called Pamela who was arrested by police officers from Kondele. Just for participating in the protest, alishikwa akapelekwa kwa court, akakuwa charged with robbery with violence, and a huge fine was placed on her. And we really appreciate our wakilis, especially from LSK, wenye walienda and waka recall hiyo file, and I totally believe that they are on the matter. We have seen another young man called Brian. Yeye naye polisi walimshika kwa protest, akawekewa a fake toy gun na a real bullet. Yani unashindwa baze toy gun itashutaje real bullet, na akapelekwa nayo kwa court, akakuwa charged na kuwa possession of hizo items. And pia walikuwa nasema ati yeye pia alikuwa ananyang'anya watu hiyo wakati wa protest. Comrade Willis, one of us and a member of Manyatabi Justice Center, yeye alishikwa na hao makarao, akapelekwa kwa cell, akakuwa tortured, mazee wakamuumiza mpaka his private parts, and then wakampeleka wakamdump kwa cells za court. Tukamtafuta bana karibu the whole day until mtu ndalituibia tu siri ati amepelekwa kwa court. Wakati alipelekwa huko kwa cell ya court, hata kukwa na charge sheet, he was not even booked in the OBSL, akakuwa presented to court without any charge. And in fact, akirudishwa ndio tuka raise our concern with the magistrate that one of us amekuwa presented in court but hajapewa charge ni kama narudishwa, and he was set free by the court. So it has been totally crazy in Kisumu, but we are not relenting. Saizi pia tumeona that baba pia amedeploy unajua the ODM structure. Some of the ODM sympathizers wamekuja na gunnery na gangs na wameanza kututarget. In fact, some of us have been singled out, including myself. Tunaambiwa ati sisi sasa ndio tunapinga Jacom. But then that is not making us relent. The dynamics in Kisumu is a bit different, but bado tutatoka out on the streets. The will of the people is still with us. People are supporting what we are doing, and they are coming out to defy such unajua retrogressive orders. So we are still in solidarity. Tunasema tu alita continua, to lose hope. Kisumu bado tuko pamoja.
Thank you very much, Comrade Boni. Fellow Kenyans, you can hear whatever is happening in the country. And Comrade Boni, despite the harassment, still continually keeps agitating for the fight for good. He keeps on going to the streets despite the dangers. And now, Comrade Manjera, who had lost the mic, I'd like to pass this over to you in spirit of equality and fairness. Please pass the mic, giving two minutes each to every speaker so that we can have as many people speaking on the space as possible. Thank you, my comrade. Take over.
Thank you, Comrade Kasmuel, and thank you, Boni, for your submission. We send our solidarity to you and to the people of Kisumu. Alota continua. Ruto must go for us to birth a republic of a new type. Now, I'd like to send the mic over to Comrade Naomi Baraza, who's also a seasoned human rights defender and patriot of this country. Comrade Naomi, please take the mic, and in regard of the time, tafadhali chukua dakika mbili. Comrade Naomi, karibu.
Asante sana dadangu, na asanteni sana kwa kuandaa mkutano huu. I'm so happy and grateful. I have about 3 things or 4 to say. Number one, that this is timely. And because it is timely, we need to ensure that we build the momentum based on the maandamanos that were happening. So to see drop momentum, and even as we organize around People's Assembly, we need to be very careful to see look like a club, a members club. I am a member of the Assembly. I'm part of it. I'm part of the beginning and the formation of the Assembly. People's Assembly, but we need to be careful isionekane, because we had a movement, a Kenyan movement in the Gen Z-led maandamanos. We need to build momentum. Tuendelee kukaa, it is a Kenyan thing, movement, like thing number one. Number two, nilikuwa nataka kusema there are a lot of opportunities that we might not have capitalized on, that I think we must seize this time around. There are a lot of many bills pending in Parliament that are going to be very, very bad if passed, and they'll have a bad repercussion on our food and farming industry. And so our farmers, local farmers everywhere, are a huge opportunity for us to mobilize and kuwaleta kwa movement. Small scale farmers wa maziwa, small scale farmers wa chakula, small scale farmers, and Wanjera nilisikia ukitaja mambo ya dengu. That's just one annoying pending bill. Ziko mingi, there are over 18 pending bills that are here to attack our food and land. So we must also capitalize on that, especially because we are going to go, and we must go to the rurals. And number 3, I wanted to talk about issue ensuring that Gen Z wali to start off very, very well. We did not have their parents kwa streets. Anything else we're going to do this time round, we must have parents. So political education lazima ianzie kwa families. And mina suggest, kama kutakuwa na anybody kwa street, kama ni mimi na watoto wangu, kama ni Gen Zs na wazazi wao, because these colonizers na stooges wa colonizers wamebrand hiyo struggle ambayo ilikuwa ni struggle ya Kenyans led by our young patriots, ati hawa watoto, stress za watoto wana watch nini sana, so we cannot allow that to happen again. And so I suggest that this time round ikuwe ni wazazi na watoto, watoto na wazazi, vijana na wazazi, wazazi na vijana. And finally, nilikuwa nataka tu kusema kuna watu ambao bado wana miss kwa wingi sana sana sana. Na I know we have been doing stuff and nini. Mina suggest we start an online, offline campaign, yeah, bring our children back, bring our sons back, bring our daughters back, bring our husbands back. You know, like the Boko Haram campaign, bring our girls back the way it was, so that we internationalize this campaign ya struggle ya watu wetu ambao wana miss, because we can't continue talking na tujui watu wako wapi, watu wetu wako wapi. And we've had, we don't know how true it is, but I don't doubt the ubaya wa Ruto na system yake, that kuna watu walipelekwa kwa kule kwa inaitwa incinerator, kule watu huenda kukremetiwa, watu walikremetiwa. Kwingine tunasikia watu wako kwa mass graves. We must start a campaign that will be very strong, even if it means all mothers to come to the street. Twende tukademand, even if it means all fathers, twende tukademand the people who are missing waproduciwe, dead or alive. Asante. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Asante sana dada Naomi, na ninakubaliana na wewe kabisa kwamba it is very primary that the Kenyan people own this struggle collectively, that it must not be seen that it is a struggle for young people of this nation, but also all generation. Na sasa tunasema Gen Z ni Gen zote, ni millennials, ni Gen X, ni Generation Z, ni kila mtu ambaye anahisi kwamba nchi yetu ni lazima ibadilike. Ili nakubaliane kwamba lazima tujue where everybody else is, the missing people, and I think that is a campaign that is being taken up by the Mothers of Victims and Survivors Network within the social justice movement, also in partnership with Kinaboni, who have been able to attend the burials of the comrades. So we really welcome your great ideas, Comrade Naomi, na asante sana for also keeping it 3 minutes. Now I'd like to welcome Comrade Tabitha and then Comrade Brian. Tabitha, if you could please unmute your mic, and Comrade Brian, prepare.
Hi guys.
Hi Tabitha.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Wanjira. Thank you, Kasmuel. Thank you, Buka. I think I've heard so many people talk about how parents will need to be out on the streets, and I'd like to remind people that some of us are parents of Gen Zs. I know you might not remember this, Wanjira, but we were the first, what do we call it? The first mabuses for these demos at Central. You were there with me. So I'd like for every young person to know that you have the older generations. Some of us have noted the injustice. We have known that we need a better Kenya, and we have been fighting for so long that for free we will tell you that you have our support. We will get out when we need to get out. We will give whatever we need to give. But it's never. There will always be people of my generation or perhaps older who will feel some type of way, but we have been in this fight for so long, literally, since the time I was in university. And if I am a Gen Xer, that's a long time ago. And we know that there's better. We can do better. We can be better as a country. We know to ask. The one question that a lot of Kenyan politicians do not want to be asked is to be accountable. We have basically done away with the concept of integrity. This is what they fight. And for the first time ever, I have hope in the sense that for so long we have had people out on the streets and people have been killed, people have been beaten, people have been, basically police brutality has been there, but there's been a silence of sorts afterwards. And this time, my hope lies in the fact that there has been no silence. I have had every single day I've woken up to people saying, we shall not forget, we want justice, and Ruto must go. And for that, I am so hopeful. You know, like I am like, finally, it's going to happen. Maybe I will leave this up happen. You know, like it's, I've dreamt of this time. Thank you so much, and tuko pamoja sana. Asante.
Thank you, Tabitha. We hope to be the generation that says police brutality ends with us. Abductions, police killings, kuharasiwa mtaani juu ya kitu ndogo. Tunataka kuwa the generation of Kenyan people that came up and said, no way, enough is enough. Comrade Brian, take the floor, please.
Comrade Wanjira, I'm using Comrade Brian handle to listen to the conversation. My phone failed. But thank you so much for holding this space for us also to come together and discuss. Katiba Day. As Kenyans and as I've heard from different speakers in this platform today, people are tired, and the aim is still Ruto must go, whether he's going tomorrow, whether he's going next month, or whether he's going by 2027. And I think as we continue to build the momentum, because from many of the speakers who are speaking today, the main thing that was coming out is we need to build the momentum of what was started by the young people in this country. Least we forget that we have paid a price to get where we are. We have almost 70 martyrs, so many abductions, so many people are injured, so many people in hospital for us to get where we are. But we haven't gotten to completely where we want to be. We want this regime out. Because for sure, we all agree this regime has failed us, and this regime hatuwezi endelea nayo. Na things have to change venye tumesema. So one of the things that we agreed that we need to do, and the coalition needs to help us see that off, also with the use of the assembly, is making sure that we now make sure that the youth voting bloc is registered. But how do we do that when even the IBC haijakuwa constituted yet? So we need some pressure. Hao watu wametuonyesha, if we don't give them pressure, they can't act. But what we need sasa ni kuanza kuregister young people, because tumechoka na hiyo puzi ya political class. Right now we even have new enemies, as Buni has said, because of their political interest. They had to jump onto the other side, so they are no longer our friends. Those people are our enemies. So how do we make sure we take these people out by 2027? Is having young people registered. And we know these tactics of delaying this process of constituting the IEBC so that they equate young people, majority of young people have not been registered by 2027. So we need the moral mass of this country. Wale tu wenye ambao wamefeel vitu haziendi sawa, to put pressure, and that starts with the people who are here. Making sure that we put more and more pressure even as we come
hello,
out.
are we hearing each other?
Time.
Sorry. Wanjira, are you hearing me?
Yes, Njeri, I can hear you. Please conclude. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So how do we make sure that the moral mass put more pressure so that the IEBC body is constituted? And that is how we make sure that we have so many voters. We know we have so many young people in this country who can vote this fake regime out. So I'm so happy that we are having this conversation, and we should have it. My name is Jimi Wanjigi from Mathare Social Justice Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Njeri, for those beautiful submissions that we understand the delay tactics. And as a voting bloc, we are a force that could determine the directive this nation takes, whether we are building a republic of social justice or we continue to mark time with the billionaires club that is out to continue exploiting us. Now, I'd like to give the mic to Comrade from Kibera, umekuwa kwa waiting list for a long time. Comrade Gisore, the mic is yours. Please keep it 2 minutes so that we can conclude in time.
Sure, comrade. Red salute, comrades. How are you? So I'm Gisore Jabuti from West Casino in Kenya Trade Union, and I'm also a party member of CPK Communist Party. So my take home is that the day of Constitution, we need to have every Kenyan to reflect, have a moment of reflection. Is our Constitution guiding us to the right direction? Are we having the right people guiding us to the right direction? So it needs to be a moment of reflection. Every Kenyan, as a patriot or as a nationalist or as a Kenyan, you need to ask yourself the question. Also, the other thing is that At the moment, we need to, as young people, we need to follow the constitution and hold the leaders accountable to the letter, because we are educated, we can learn, we can read. We need to translate the constitution the way, as our brother said, that the Bible is translated in every tribe in Kenya, every language. Why not the constitution? We need our people, even the lowest person, to understand what the Kenyan government is there to do for him. So Ruto is not above the constitution. It's only that he is pulling the strings and he has puppets, as the same way he's a puppet for the West and the puppet for the IMF. We need a leader, not a politician. Because politicians are just playing politics on us. There's nothing which can get out of them. Their time will end, and after election, they have gone home. Nothing will come out of them. So it's a high time that we see how, as comrades, we can take back our country. We have a country where we are accountable. We have an authentic leadership, and also like leadership which will benefit the comrades and the future generation which is coming. Because Ruto is thinking of his stomach and the stomach of his children. He's not thinking about the children who are coming. Kenya needs to be there 100 years coming. Kenya is not ending with Ruto because he's selling the country, half of it, to the UAE, to the Europeans and the USA people. As two comrades of the struggle, we need to make the masses aware so that they can make informed decisions. Like on Tuesday, when we are going to the streets, if we have like our masses aware, they can make an informed decision to join us, all of us, not constituting for only the young people, so that we can take back our country to the right path where our constitution is guiding us. Also, we need to, it takes young people to have like an upright country. We cannot sit there and then just be pointing fingers and doing nothing. So we need to wake up as young people, hold the leadership accountable, and if not, we change it. Leadership, power is taken by force. So we cannot be given power. So also we need to think on how we can constitute ourselves, because already we have the provincial coordination team already. So we need to support and give support of everything that we can do so that we can have an authentic and a real leadership in our country. Thank you. Red salute, comrades.
I think Comrade Wanjira has been dropped off the.
Just go ahead, Comrade Booker.
Okay. Okay. So then we
Is
will go
anybody
and give
speaking?
them.
I can't hear you.
I think we Farah, no problem. We'll give you time to speak. I just wanted to give Sheikh 1 minute. And thanks, Comrade Gisori.
Why 1 minute, huh? Anyway, thank you guys. My name is Sheikh Muhammad Khan. Basically, I have two very unique qualities. I am the only religious leader on the ground, and also I am an Asian, so I bring in the minority voice. I think it's time for us to have action. First and foremost, we should have weekly meetings until we make sure we have a headway. Because this meeting once and in a while is not going to bear fruit. We should have weekly meetings to just know that this is what we are doing, this way we have hit the wall. Then we should have hashtags like, other than Ruto must go, we should have Kenya bila Ruto. That hashtag, we should tweet it, because Ruto must go, naona ni kama haita trend. We should take in something like Kenya bila Ruto. And then the Katiba that Ruto rejected in 2010, do you think he's going to implement it? Right now, he's there laughing that he has got all the authority to do with the Katiba what he wants. So we should, instead of having a protest, we should have a rally whereby we should sensitize people that Ruto was against this Katiba. So basically, he's not going to implement it. Okay? And then remember vile tunaongea, mimi kawaida huwa najaribu tuongee kwa Kiswahili kwamba ukombozi bado haijaisha. Kumbuka Jomo Kenyatta na wenzake walitusaliti. Hakuna kitu ambayo Jomo Kenyatta alifanya ambayo wazungu walikuwa wafanyi. Jomo Kenyatta aliendelea tu na ile mikakati ya kuiba ardhi vile wazungu walikuwa wanafanya. That is his legacy. Kwa hivyo sisi tunatakana tujue kwamba hata wakati huu hao watu watatupanga, na wakishatupanga Hello, are we hearing each other?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So Kituiko, right now, wow, as we're going to need this, trying to gain the full independence, they will try and get us on the negotiation table. I think I will not speak it here, but behind the scenes, we should sit down and see how we can get to the government and break it from inside. Wengi wetu tunadhania kwamba ikikuja 2027 we will come through elections. I am assuring you they will not allow us to come into elections. I've been in that game. Hao watu wanajua vile kurig this election. So let's not be just focusing on election. Let's try and see that Kenya bila Ruto should start working from now. Higher. And then we should focus on one issue, okay? Instead of having so many issues. My chairman Booker the other day gave us 13 points why Ruto must go. For me, I just concluded and said, let us put it in a better way and say, give me one reason why Ruto should still continue being the president of Kenya. Bas, give me one valid reason why Ruto must continue being the president of Kenya. Kenya bila Ruto. That is the thing that we should try and push for. And last but not least, we were supposed to know that the arms of government, which one is the one which is on top of all, because he's completely ignoring the judiciary, and the judiciary has some powers, and he has taken over the legislature, and he himself is the executive. So we should try and see out of.
Can we hear Sheikh?
I can't hear him.
Sorry? So Omtatah was on the
Proceed.
other space,
We
and
can
it
hear
looks
you.
like our listeners are divided. So next time when we are hosting someone, can we try and make sure that we have this person confirmed? Because now KOT there is saying that Omtatah is saying the group just put my name, but they did not consult with me. So next time, let's please make sure that we have the confirmation before we just have a space whereby now our listeners are divided. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thanks, Sheikh. And we appreciate that actually the Indian community was with us, even more militant in the street. So it was actually an all-inclusive offensive. We go to Eunice, please.
Hello, am I audible enough?
Yes,
I don't know why, but I cannot hear you completely.
Hello. Okay, thank you all for the opportunity. I would personally like to thank Samuel for the good work he has done, and he has been forefront for fighting for the freedom. I wish each and every one of us will have come out the way Kasmuel has been. I think almost everybody here knows Kasmuel. Maybe someone doesn't know who is Eunice, who is this. I wish we would have come out the way he has come. We come out from our fears. When it comes on Tuesday, let us all dress smartly. Let us avoid dressing in these ragged things. So kila mtu kuvaa suti, tuvae vizuri so that they can see we are responsible people who are asking for who are negotiating serious business. Personally, I've heard Ruto say that education is an equalizer for the poor and the rich, but that is not the case. It's whereby it's only the rich who are benefiting. Among 50 million people, why should he keep recycling the same people he said they are incapable of the work? There are more people. Angekuwa man enough aseme awavuti. Kwa nini sasa anawarudisha kidogo kidogo? Is going to return almost everybody. I think it's only 4 people are remaining to be back in the full cabinet. Why should he not be man enough? Angesema awavuti, these are the people he wants. Instead of lying to us, amewavuta but amewarudisha in different capacities, ama amewa interchange. That is not the case we are seeing here. I think this government is mostly for those who have, and those who don't have a say in the government. Personally, mambo yenye anasema hata hii education basis yenye ana recycle what easy kuweka hizo classes, I don't think they're beneficial for the poor person. These people, they don't know what is being poor. These people, they have never slept hungry. These people don't know what people are going outside. People are suffering from outside here. I think we should all march on Tuesday and let us come out from our fears. Let us all be outspoken. Let it not be Kasmuel or who. Kila mtu ajitokeze na akona shida zake ajisemee. kila mtu ajitambulishe na tukuje kwa wingi. I think that is all I have to say. Kenya inaniuma. I don't know kama everybody listens to how Ruto speaks. Personally, it boils. Sometimes I usually don't want to hear him speaking because I usually don't think kama anasikia shida za common mwananchi. Because if you walk huku kwa ground, I'm a graduate. I graduated 2019 finance. Personally, I've decided to change. Ninafanya some courses hizi kama hizi na giving niende abroad. Going abroad is not the dream of everybody. But it's the case that huko you can survive. There are some small means whereby you can survive. Because huku Kenya, getting employment is getting employment is the hardest thing that it can happen. Having a degree or a certificate or a diploma is not enough. It's just, if you don't have anybody, it's a waste of time, because they are saying to jiajiri. Now them, we have already employed them. And these people, they are billionaires. Why should someone who has over 100 million still look for work? And watu inafaa wajiajiri. Mtu kama mimi mwenye sina hata shilingi moja, ndajiajiri haje? Yeah, that is my point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Janice, for bringing up the points that you have. And we hope that we can continue to at least wind up this space in record time. I will invite the next speaker, Comrade Tekeleza. Please have the mic.
Thank you so much, Comrade Buka, and Comrade Wanjira and Kasmuel for actually hosting this timely conversation. My name is Abib Omar. I'm an active citizen of this country. Actually, I believe in the rule of law. And in many occasions, I've heard Ruto speak about the rule of law. And when Kenyans were agitating and advocating for their rights, they were talking about we are bringing anarchy in this country. They're talking about peace. So I wonder which kind of peace are we talking about when people are being abducted each and every day, when the whereabouts of around more than 60 Kenyans is still unknown, when there are people who are nursing gun wounds in hospital. So even as we consolidate power, as we consolidate our energy and strategies, because there's need for us to reason together as Kenyans, because right now we are the right opposition, because we have that responsibility as Kenyans by the virtue of Article 3 of the Constitution that require all of us to be able to defend the Constitution. Then that make us actually the right opposition in this country, because the political class has now come together to regroup to be able to continue perpetuating the oppression and injustices that are happening. But nonetheless, as we continue organizing, as we continue strategizing, there's need for us to continue pushing for the need of demanding justice, because there is no way someone can be able to violate your right, the right to life as enshrined in Article 26 of the Constitution. There's no way someone will, each and every time, people will be able to disregard the rule of law and we just let it go. We need to be able to demand justice. We need to be able to demand that those who are responsible for the death of Kenyans, for the abduction, because the other day the DCI distanced themselves saying that they're not aware of who is abducting Kenya. But we have never seen even anybody being arrested. So comrades, I want to urge us to also to continue pushing for demanding for justice. But most of important is also how do we also continue building on this momentum. And I love the idea of the citizen assemblies so that we can be able to cascade this to the grassroots level and have a conversation. Just like the other speaker alluded, majority of Kenyans still do not relate and understand their rights and when their rights are being violated and what actually they need to be able to do. So as we continue with, because the call beyond the civic education and for the political education, so that Kenyans can be able to understand how the system works and who actually, the way Buka you put it, who is the real enemy. Comrade Wanjira is not my enemy. Who is the real enemy that we are targeting and we are fighting against? So I'll end it there. In the interest of time, I'll just be able to end it there, but I'll be able to urge us to continue having such conversations so that we can continue organizing, educating, and definitely, hopefully, the masses will be able to liberate themselves, because that actually is what we want. The change we want must start from the mindset. Thank you.
My colleague and my comrade Wanjira is back, so she can take back the controlling of the mic. We have so many people still in the waiting list. I don't know whether Kasmuel will give us a direction on when to stop the space, because we have like 100 plus people who wanted to speak on this space. So we are trying to make sure everybody does speak. So Wanjira, please.
Thank you, Comrade Buka. Let's remember the conversation is about the liberation of Kenya and the Constitution of Kenya 2010. I don't think we can continue having this conversation, also because tomorrow we have some plans as a coalition that will require us to rise early in the morning. So I think we should be winding up. We should be done in the next 9 minutes. So if you have some last minute thoughts, you want a priority to speak, I need your hand up right now. So I see 4, and let me give the floor to Josephine. Kindly unmute, and then we can go to Kinyanjui, and then Majalale, alafu tumalizie na Tomboya.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I wish to speak too, please.
Yes, Josephine, we can hear
you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kasmuel, for giving us this opportunity, and Wanjira for actually being in a position to hold this space. Yesterday, I tried to speak in your space, and I couldn't. And I still, when I just saw it today, I just said, let me try and see whether I'll get an opportunity. Yes. Thank you so much for taking this opportunity and taking up this challenge and actually being on the lead. We really appreciate that. What I want to say is that I think we are good people, we are educated, and we have the knowledge